Hi, it's Barrett from the All About Nothing podcast. This holiday season, make your celebrations unforgettable with ZJZ Designs. From festive Christmas prints to cheerful holiday designs, we've got everything to spread the joy. Introducing Eddie the Elf, dashing through the snow on his sled, perfect for adding that whimsical touch to your holiday wardrobe. Whether it's cozy sweatshirts or statement tees, find the perfect fit for everyone on your list. Ready to slay this season? Visit ZJZDesigns.com. ZJZ Designs, where style meets the holiday spirit.
The All About Nothing podcast may have language and content
that isn't appropriate for some.
Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome, Nothingers, to another episode of the All About Nothing podcast. This is episode number 234. I am Barrett Gruber.
I am Zach King.
All right, welcome, Zach. We're going to welcome our guest, Michelle Brandt, who is the candidate for South Carolina's House Seat 113 and Vice Chair of the South Carolina Democratic Party, Department of Democrats. That was where I think I was going.
The Department of Democrats.
Real quick, it's part of the South Carolina Mental Health facility here in Columbia, potentially. It feels like it right now.
Seeing me soon.
Yeah. I want to thank Zach Boyd from Famously Garnet for being on with us last week. We had a really good time with him, and he's done a lot for our social media in recent days because his videos that we've been posting have been getting some traction. In fact, there has been a request on social media to do a series with Famously Garnet specifically about everything, all of the tea that was spilled, that could be spilled about Will Muschamp's time as the South Carolina head coach.
That old so-and-so. Yeah, I'd love to see about that.
That would be fun. I'm thinking a 3-part series with Garnet, Famously Garnet.
I would love to go around town and just be like, what did Will Muschamp do to you? And he kicked my dog. Yep. Came right out of there and just kicked him. Yeah, what did he do? He left me a $2 tip on a $55 bill. All right, yeah, there he is.
He Muschamp you. So I want to...
I got champed.
Real quick, I said I was going to do it, but I'm not. But I was going to wear the T-shirt of Eddie the Elf for you, Zach, but I didn't wear it because... This is not the episode before Christmas. So
yeah, I saw week. Eddie the Elf.
Oh, you did see it. All right. Well, just a reminder, you all can check out Eddie the Elf as well as all of the other designs that are available over at ZJZ Designs. You can check out them at ZJZDesigns.com. Bunch of sweaters, T-shirts, gift ideas, again, featuring Eddie the Elf. That you can find over there at their website. Also, want to remind everybody, Everplay Sports and Social, the Tuesday bowling sign up for Bolero is going to end on register. You can register by December 19th. You want to do that because this league is definitely going to sell out. Our team, Bowl of Duty, will be playing in the Winter League. So check that out, everplaysocial.com. All right. This week, we are thrilled to welcome back someone who's no stranger to the podcast, Michelle Brandt, the third vice chair of the South Carolina Democratic Party, who is now running for South Carolina's House of Representatives in special election on January 21st for District 113. We first met Michelle back in August of 2023 at the Greenwood County Democratic Party breakfast, where we had the pleasure of connecting with her alongside Bill Kimmler and Dr. Jamil Brooks, hosts of Black, White, and Blue in the South. Her passion for public service and dedication to South Carolina's future were evident then, and they're even more inspiring today as she takes on the exciting new challenge of running for State House Representative. So we're going to join. We're going to welcome Michelle to the show. Michelle, thank you for being here with us. We're very excited to have you as an actual guest, not just Bill saying, "Barrett, sit next to Michelle."
I'm glad you noticed that because I was like, oh, I had more to say. It's okay. It's all good. I'm glad I'm here now as an official guest.
That's right.
We, there were, I guess, let's see, you have been the vice chair since May, correct?
Or since April of 2022.
May of 2022. Mm-hmm. And how is that going?
Well, we're coming to the end of that, but it has been an exciting term. I'll say when I ran, I didn't know or even think in my head about the presidential election. I didn't know about the DNC. I mean, I was aware that was something that happened, but I didn't know like how big of a deal it was to be in my position in such a interesting time in politics, especially in South Carolina. So the position has warranted me like a lot of opportunity I don't think I would have had otherwise. So it's been cool, and it's also been rough. Being in leadership, you get blamed for everything. But I just try to do my part and show my receipts. Like I've been out here trying to do some stuff.
Yeah. So just so you know, none of those emails that I sent that sounded angry were directed at you.
Okay. Okay.
So here's the thing about Crystal, and I adore her, I do, but her name isn't spelled Crystal; it's spelled Christale. And every time I talked to her, she never corrected me. So for months, like I'd hear her introduced and not pay any attention to it. I would just be like, "Oh, Crystal Spain," and then I'm literally talking somewhere, and Matt pokes me in the shoulder, and he goes, "Hey, it's Crystal, not Christale." I was like, "Why didn't she correct me?"
Oh, she's much more patient than I am. I would have corrected you the first time.
Absolutely. So you made the decision to run for the special election. Why is this seat open?
So Marvin Pendarvis, he had the seat previously, and he got into some legal trouble and ended up resigning. He held a press conference in October, but he officially resigned November 7th. So it's open, and I'm running for it.
Well, there's a decent possibility that the House seat for my district is going to be open because I'm represented by R.J. May.
Okay.
Who is also in some legal trouble.
Okay. Just a little.
Yeah. His house was raided by the FBI and Department and the Homeland Security Investigations Group for potential child endangerment. Which, seems not to accuse anybody or make any unwarranted allegations, but seems to be an issue with the Freedom Caucus. Anyway, that is my opinion.
Are you going to run for it?
Yeah. I think that I will back whoever it is that I can talk into running for it. The election season for me, I was glad to see was over on November 6th. And to prepare for that speaking to you directly about it, like the idea of going from the election, even as disappointing as it was in a lot of cases, to now rolling right back into it. But this time you're directly involved. This is you.
Yep. Back at the hot seat.
How did that go over with the family?
Ooh, it was tough. For those of you that don't know, I have a 5-month-old baby. His name is Arthur, and when the news first broke about Marvin back in April, I had been asked by a few people to run, and I was like, y'all know I'm pregnant, right? But I thought about it, and I was like, you know what? I would regret it the rest of my life if I didn't try. So I had a lot of conversations with my husband. We made sure that we had a better support infrastructure this time. First time I ran, it was just kind of like chaotic all the time. And, after putting certain things in place, coming up with a loose kind of schedule, we were like, okay, I guess this is going to happen. So things kind of fell into place. But it was definitely a family decision to do this.
Yeah.
I couldn't do this by myself. My husband has gone above and beyond to support me throughout my campaign. So
yeah, I'd have to imagine.
Yeah, it's a lot. He's home with the 3 little ones by himself often in the evenings while I'm out going to neighborhood meetings and talking to people.
How is are we already doing the canvassing and the
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
How many houses? So canvassing is unique now because when I canvassed for Bernie back in 2016, I didn't have a list of the friendly houses to go to. I literally was just told to walk a neighborhood and I was given a list of, Democrats and Republicans, but I didn't. This is
go to old man Cratchit's house. He's the friendliest old man.
I had enough conversations with people that were like, well, I like that Bernie Sanders, but he's no Donald Trump. And I was like, well, yeah, it's the difference. Obviously that's the one you want to.
Yeah, I know one has cohesive thoughts and one doesn't. That's the thing.
Canvassing this year was with Matt was good. We hit a lot of houses and we were getting in about 15,000-20,000 steps every time we go out.
Wow.
But it's different now because the list that I got to canvas was all friendly houses, so I knew that the likelihood was I was knocking on the door of someone that I was just having to convince to come out and vote in the election. But I guess for a special election, it's different. It's not just telling them, it's not just introducing yourself, but it's also it's making sure they understand that January 21st is the election. Like, this is a special election. There's only going to be, I assume, you and somebody else. That's it on the ballot, right?
There's 3 total people who have filed, including myself.
Okay. This is I guess special elections are interesting. There has not been a special election announced because for my district, RJ May has not resigned. His assumption, I'm guessing, the assumption for him is that he is likely going to be removed.
Okay.
I'm not sure exactly how that happens, especially with a Republican controlled House and Senate. I don't understand why his assumption is he'd be removed unless he assumes he's going to be arrested. Like that I could see. Anyway, enough about him. As the third vice chair of South Carolina Democratic Party, how has that experience prepared you for now running for the House?
Well, I treated being third vice chair like I was a candidate still. I wanted to be visible because that was one of the biggest things that I heard complaints about previous third vice chairs. People were like, we have a third vice chair. That's how bad it was.
Wow.
So I really had to recreate it and make it my own. And I really wanted to be more engaged with the leadership. When I say leadership, I'm specifically talking about Crystal and Jay Parmley, who's the executive director of SCDP. So
Jay's fantastic.
Yeah, he is fantastic. So I made sure that I was always in the emails. The 4 of us, the other vice chairs, and plus Jay, we made an agreement to have like bi-weekly meetings. This was at the time when we were like first in the nation and all these things were happening. And I got to travel the state. Now, this was before I was pregnant, obviously. I had a lot more energy to go to all these places and time. And so it was fun. I got to engage with a lot of young people. I got to work with the high school Democrats of South Carolina, which was great. I worked a little bit with the young Democrats of South Carolina as well. And I had an opportunity to go to Las Vegas for the Young Democrats of America conference, which was really cool because then I got to meet people from all over the country. And I still keep in touch with those people. And like I have a way bigger network than when I started. And it's been really nice to connect with them, especially now as I'm running. I had a feeling I would run again. I'm House Slytherin. I'm a really big Harry Potter fan, so I'm extremely ambitious. So I made sure to keep everyone's phone number for this moment. And you better believe I called through everybody. Like, hey, I'm running. You said you'd support me if I run again. Cut me a check.
Yeah. $13.05. There you go.
The challenge was the time of year. The special election, unfortunately, is around Christmas time, and morale is low because of the big disappointment for Democrats in South Carolina and nationally.
Yeah. Whatever are you talking about?
Oh, there was this little thing that happened November 6th. Pretty devastating.
I'm gonna actually show how easy it is to make a donation to your campaign. I'm not gonna put it up on the screen because I don't want my credit card. But it's very simple. You go to Michelle.
Barrett's like, I don't want to show the amount.
And I don't want Michelle to react when she sees the amount.
She's like, how did you do negative? Now I owe you? What is this?
But it's simple. You go to michelle4sc.com and the link is right there on the page and it's through ActBlue. It's not going very quickly on my phone.
I'm putting it into live on TikTok.
There you go. So michelle4sc.com. If you go when you pull up the site, it's very easy to make a donation to the campaign. And I guess because this isn't your first time running as a candidate, but this is the first time. I'm assuming when you ran as vice chair, did that involve having to take donations and things?
I mean, a little bit. I didn't have an Act Blue then. I used mostly my own money. Some people, when they run for state positions, they raise a ton of money. And I guess when you're running for chair, that takes a lot of money because just think of the gas of traveling from Greenville to Charleston to Aiken to the PD. Like, it's a lot. I spent a lot of money on gas, but again, that was another compromise with my husband of like, look, this is what I want to do. Like, can you give me the gas money so I can go, please?
He's like, your babies.
Right.
You're gonna drive a Chevy Volt. That's the first thing.
So I did have to make some materials, especially on election day. And that's the big convention we had in Columbia. I had some stickers and some postcards. But mainly it was social media was the biggest tool, and then just going to all the Democratic county meetings and participating in all the forums and just, bringing my A game. And I'm very charismatic, so it wasn't like it was that hard. So. And I have great ideas. I have great ideas too.
Wait till they find out you play D&D. That's going to be the big kicker. But D&D is big in Charleston.
Yeah. That should be how a lot of stuff is run. So it's like roll for initiative, Lindsey Graham.
Oh,
look, yeah.
If South Carolina's legislature were to adopt the format of Dungeons and Dragons where everyone had to roll for initiative, I would be absolutely in for that.
The filibustering would get weird.
Yeah, we could televise it. We could sell pay-per-view tickets, raise tax money through it. If they're not going to give us marijuana,
if you're a Republican, you don't have inspiration. Like none of it.
You're automatically dropped as inspiration. That's great. So, what are some of the special with the special election? Of course, it can present these unique challenges. How has the campaign? What have you experienced so far as challenges?
Well, this is my second time technically running in a primary specifically. So if you want to count running for office for SCDP vice chair, I had run against two other people. And the challenge is, people know people, people talk, people pick sides. And so as you can assume, I've made a lot of friendships, especially in Charleston where I live, North Charleston as well, with people in the Democratic Party. And one of the biggest challenges for me is just some people that you think are going to be supporters are not, just because they've known someone else longer or for whatever reasons they have. It can be kind of gut wrenching. It can hurt a little bit, but it's only made me stronger. And I'm just like, okay, like that's okay. Like so and so is supporting them, but guess what? I have all these people over here. And with my experience with Planned Parenthood, I was a community organizer with them. All of those volunteers, those amazing, phenomenal volunteers, like all those people are now helping me. So like I have built a pretty good infrastructure, which has definitely helped me have a much stronger ground game. Especially when you don't have to pay for it. That's why volunteers are always like the best.
Yeah.
Because it takes a lot of money to run a good campaign. I know that people don't like talking about money, but that's just, it is what it is. Like you have to be able to get money to get your message out there, either through mailers, social media ads, paying canvassers, because I literally could not knock on all 20,000 doors in my district. But that's what it takes. And so every little bit counts, every volunteer, every dollar raised, it all adds up in the end. And I'm really fortunate to have a really great team help me get me to a win.
So the special election in January, is that the primary?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So no Republicans have filed to run in House District 113. So whoever wins the primary wins the seat, essentially.
Gotcha.
We'll still have a general election on March 21st or 25th.
Okay.
But essentially, whoever wins the primary wins the seat. So this is extremely competitive, and it's very common in safe blue districts to have super competitive primaries, and then the generals, like, no one's really paying attention. So yeah, it's been tough. I have really steep competition, but I'm a fierce competitor. I'm an Emerge alum. I know what I'm doing. This is my second time running for the State House. Nothing really surprises me anymore. So I'm just like rolling with everything. And it's been great getting out there and talking to the people of North Charleston.
The weather's been all right for the getting out there too.
For the most part, last weekend was extremely chilly, but I made the most of it and I had great connections. And what I've been finding as I'm knocking on doors, and I'm knocking on hardcore Democrats, people that they show up in special elections.
Yeah.
Because we just had one for Senator Dion Tedder for Senate District 42, which overlaps with my state house district. And even those folks were like, there's a special election. And I'm like, yes, there is. Vote for me, please. They're like, okay, well, you're the first one at my door. And I'm like, yes. So it's just making sure they get out to the polls is the trick.
Yeah.
I have some interesting news developing right now. Our live contains themes that some may find uncomfortable and has been restricted. Reason: regulated goods content.
What?
I don't know what that means.
I just put my website in the chat. Did I break it? I just put my website in the chat. That's all I did.
I don't think you broke it.
I don't think so. I mean, so here's the thing. It's still running on my screen. So
it's running on mine too.
Yeah. It may have been a weird
Your live's
warning.
not eligible for a recommendation and restricted in search results.
Okay. So it's still running. It'll just come up on people that are following us.
So yes, you two are the two viewers right now.
Yeah.
We had 16 at one time, and then that happened, and done. My mom sent us a rose.
Hey, that's nice. That's nice.
I don't know what it does, but thanks, Mom. Give her a shout out.
So most importantly, as far as being the representative for Charleston, District 113, what are the issues that you're finding are the most important to the voters in your district?
Lack of childcare is huge. Affordable and accessible childcare is a big problem. I am a member of the Charleston Metro Chamber of Commerce, and they are finally taking on childcare as a part of their campaign. They're calling it dependent care, which I think is even better because there are people who take care of elderly loved ones.
Yeah.
Who need help. I mean, elderly care is also very expensive. And then
that
all other forms of care in between for people that might have unique disabilities as well. So
I think keeping that jargon together when it comes to like dependent care, flexible spending accounts and stuff, keeping that all kind of together, I think that's a good idea. Just keep it to dependents. Because I'm for one about to have twins. I don't know what the hell I'm supposed to do. So
yeah.
Congratulations. Ooh, yeah, childcare is going to be a bitch.
Yeah.
Can I cuss? Oh my God.
Yeah,
Do representatives cuss? Okay.
Here's you've been on the floor of the House. Like I've been in there. I've been in there when and this was years and years ago, but like 5 years ago. But like I've been on the House floor where I think I heard the F word among some of the most elderly individuals representing some of the most highfalutin areas of Columbia, South Carolina. So yeah, okay. If you can cuss on the floor of the South Carolina House, you can cuss on our podcast. It's,
okay.
Also, some of those people are really dirty. Just the implications of what they said. Yeah,
I would say another issue is definitely stormwater drainage. We're still the low country in North Charleston, so there's still some flooding issues there. Maintaining our roads. We're having low country rapid transit come through by like 2028. And so with that is going to bring a lot of change and just making sure that we develop really smart and strategically around that. And then affordable housing. It's my main thing. Affordable housing. I'm so glad it took the national stage in this past election.
Yeah.
And affordable housing is still a major issue. I'm sure it is all over South Carolina, but definitely in the Tri-County area here in Charleston, Berkeley, and Dorchester counties. And I want to fight for a renter's tax credit. Like 59% of the people that live in District 113 are renters, my family included. And when you're paying down student loan debt and you're trying to find affordable childcare, and housing is over 30% of your expenses, it can be a lot. And so many people living paycheck to paycheck. Things are really tight and the rent is just too damn high. So I want to fight to do something about it and continue on some of the work that Representative Marvin Pendarvis was doing as well. And then gun violence is still a big problem in the Low Country.
Yeah.
And I know, like, I get it. We have a super majority of Republicans in the House, but I've been doing research on what some of the Republicans even want to do about it. And I think trying to find some common ground. So something I want to look into doing and passing is safe storage gun laws.
Okay.
Just to help prevent kids from getting access. And when I talked to North Charleston police, they were telling me that most people get access to firearms because people leave them in their unlocked cars, or they leave the weapons in their cars. And it's like, really, come on. So making sure that we have that in place. And then because gun violence is it's just a massive issue. There's so many things. Something I've been looking into is how it impacts our kids. And unfortunately, gun violence is the number one killer of children in America.
Yeah.
So when I talk to a few nonprofit organizations that really work focusing on kids, and especially surrounding gun control, gun reform, I was told and I learned that most young kids are recruited into gangs in elementary and middle school. That's how they get them hooked. So I want to invest state money into after school programming to keep these kids occupied and off the streets. And it should be free because, like I said, most parents are working more than one job. A lot of these kids are latchkey kids. So I think having them occupied will reduce the amount of juvenile crime that's happening after school hours. So that's what I want to do. That's just a gist. But if your viewers want to know more, please check out my website at michelleforsc.com to learn more about me and what I want to do. But that's just the start. There's a lot more. So.
Have any of the interactions that you've had with some of the people that you've met in the district, have those come across as some of their concerns as well?
Yes. When I talk to people that obviously work and with nonprofits, they care about kids and education, not supporting the school vouchers, not supporting the privatization of schools. So we talk a lot about kids. And then when I talk to working families, when I knock on the door and it's a family that has little ones just like mine, they're like, yeah, childcare is way expensive and they want and they need the help. And then
it's like a second mortgage.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Oh.
And then
I can absolutely tell you so Zach's having twins. My wife had twins. They turned 10 back in October.
Oh, wow.
And
watch out, there's something in the water over here. We're all having twins.
Y'all are having twins. I'm done having kids, so I'm
you
good.
say that, but you're young. You're young.
No.
You know what? Twins. We bless you with twins. No, but when we had our twins, ultimately it was a question of if my wife went back to work after having the kids, what was most cost effective? How much was her income or my income going to have to go towards paying for childcare? Sticking them in a daycare where they're, it's good for their immune system. That's what I always hear, but they're constantly coming home sick.
Bad for your vacation days.
Yeah. But so we made the decision that while it was going to hurt us a little bit financially, she basically would have been working for about $1.50 an hour after paying for childcare. So it just didn't make sense. Yep. You don't even, there are very few places around here that'll give you a discount just because you're bringing in 2 kids. They look at that, they're like, 2 kids? No, it's 100%. You're going to pay 100%, 100% for each.
Yeah. And we do, the state, South Carolina does have a scholarship program for childcare, but those programs, grateful for them, but they really only help the people like living around the poverty line.
Yeah.
And this issue is such a giant issue. We need to expand that because there's a lot of people in the middle. Like I consider myself, middle income family. We are struggling. We are struggling right now. And that's a story that so many people have. I mean, I started thinking about myself when you were talking about the decisions that you and your family make. That was a decision that my husband and I made after we had our first child. My husband was like, Michelle, your paycheck's going to go to childcare. You might as well just stay home. And that was hard because I wanted to keep, earning income outside of the home, but it just wasn't cost effective.
Yeah.
And I know there's reasons why everyone does everything and there's no judgment on what families have to choose to do. But it's tough. And so it's an economic problem in South Carolina. It's not a women's problem. it's an everybody problem. And if we can get more affordable childcare, that will help boost our economy and create more economic opportunity, but especially for women. Because, the patriarchy. So,
of course. You're on a show with two men.
Yes, two white men as well.
Yeah.
So
I'm not white.
okay.
Zach,
No, I
Zach,
am.
Zach doesn't identify as white, and frankly, I'm embarrassed by a lot of the things the whites have done over the last 1,000 years. So I may not identify as that either. I guess one of the most difficult things about running an election is in meeting with some of your constituents, and you already mentioned it, as far as having the potential that you're gonna campaign to someone who already knows one of the other individuals that's running. In that situation, because these are people you probably know. I assume you've had interactions with them. How do you navigate that sort of relationship with this person that you've just met versus what their impression of their friend or who they've already interacted with?
Well, I always love to talk about myself and my accomplishments, and then I try to differentiate myself from the others without naming them.
Sure.
You're not going to catch me saying nobody else's name on this podcast today. Google is free, so
That's right.
Enjoy. But I try to point out the differences. I mean, I am a very strong Democrat. People have seen me out here working. I am extremely visible. And when I talk to constituents, that's what they want. They want a state rep who's going to be accessible, who's going to not, be too busy to address the needs of the community, and someone who's going to be present and not just come around every 2 years, but someone who's going to be consistently involved. And I have maintained that ever since I ran for office the first time. Like, even though I lost, I still showed up. And then I got involved in the party even more, became a third vice chair, and I'm still out here advocating for the issues I believe in. When I decided that I was ready to enter the workforce, I wanted to work for an organization that I felt aligned with my beliefs, and that's why I did work for Planned Parenthood South Atlantic. And I just feel like my record will speak for itself. I mean, I can't change anyone's mind that's like, hard, steadfast, but there are a lot of people, I think, that I have been able to reach through. If anything, I had a conversation with a very prominent person in the district, and he told me he was leaning towards someone else. And then once I told him what I was about, he was like, wow, I didn't realize there were at least 2 great candidates in this. I'm like, yes, sir. Yes. Remember Michelle Brandt.
Mm-hmm.
This is not going to be easy for you.
Put my name on your mouth. I'm here.
Yes. So it can be a little tricky navigating that space, but I just try to be my authentic self, be real, and tell people my story. And I feel like my story is the one that a lot of people can resonate with. But I do have a lot of like the training, if you will, to be in leadership. I have a lot of the connections already in the state house from my work with Planned Parenthood, from my work as a third vice chair. I know a lot of people up there already, Republicans and Democrats alike. I know them, and I'm willing to do what it takes to get shit done.
Yeah.
Good people are good people. You could put a tag on them if they're good, and they could still be Republican. Mm-hmm. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you this real quick. What is Michelle Brandt that doesn't run for politics? What would she be doing? Like
before 2020?
No, now like
pre-pandemic Michelle Brandt. Yeah, that's right.
What would you? No, like right now, if you're like politics, let's say in some multiverse, you're not doing anything political. You're okay. What's the other thing? Is it still working for trying to help people? That kind of thing. What would it be?
Well, I've always had a bent towards public service.
Like you mentioned Planned Parenthood, that kind of thing. Would it still be that?
Right. I don't think it would. I think it would just be me I probably working for a nonprofit. I know Planned Parenthood, but probably something more along the direct service line. How I got started into politics was out of food distribution. So I would imagine I'd be continuing to do something along those lines. That's like my origin story. I think I think you guys were there when I talked about that.
I think you did. Yeah.
Can I share it on?
Yeah,
now?
please.
Okay.
No.
So,
just kidding. Yes,
so
please do.
in 2020, I was Mrs. Charleston America. I do pageantry as a hobby, and I will continue no matter the result of this election. And I wanted to do something to help people. I didn't know what to do. And I saw that Charleston Hope was having a food distribution in downtown Charleston. So I volunteered, and I met a lot of people that day. It was so hot. And there was this one man on a bicycle who wouldn't take some of the food because he didn't have a refrigerator. And like, that was like, obviously I know that houseless people live without basic needs, but just something in that moment, I was just like, what? Like, you don't have a refrigerator? Like, but you need this, like, I had so many questions. And by the time I like turned around to give him something else, he had left. And so I knew then that I was like, okay, I want to do something more. I don't know where to start, but I started like hyper local. I joined the Charleston Area Justice Ministry, and I started going to county council meetings for the first time in my life. Even though I considered myself, somewhat of an informed voter, I didn't really understand the ins and outs of local politics. And then when I saw who the representatives were, I was like, I know more than some of these people sitting up there. And I was like frustrated by the lack of women up there as well. It was majority men. And so I had conversations with some of the council members, and I was like, how do I be like you? Like, teach me, like, what do I do? Like, I don't know much about policy. And they were extremely patient with me. I ended up having a 3-hour conversation with Jenny Honeycutt. She's a Republican, but she took her time out of her day to just kind of explain how everything worked in politics and what was going on. And she encouraged me to apply to be a commissioner. And that was like my official first like appointed position. And I became commissioner of Charleston County Parks. And that's where I learned about networking and like how to be like elected, even though that was an elected position, because it's the training ground.
Almost, you were a step above Leslie Knope.
Yeah, pretty much. I love watching that show, Parks and Rec. Got a lot of inspiration from watching that show. I was like, okay, if Leslie can do it, I can do it.
Yeah, yeah. Was there a Ron Swanson in the office? The guy that worked for state county government, but believed that it shouldn't exist.
Yeah, any dog under 50 pounds is a cat.
There were some grumpy characters, I would say. But everyone gets along for the most part, and they're really nice.
Yeah. So I guess, you mentioned the discussion with the family on deciding to run. And I want to mention again, real quick, the website is michelle4sc.com. You can pull that up. You can make donations to the campaign as well. You can follow Michelle and the campaign on all the social media. Links are there on the website, so do that as well. So michelle4sc.com.
I'm not missing another 7 questions. We have to jump into it.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. Okay, so Michelle, real quick, tell us. We're gonna throw 7 questions at you.
Okay.
Real quick.
Okay.
Hard sell. Why do you need to be the representative for South Carolina's House Seat 113?
I need to be the representative because I have been showing up and I'm going to continue to show up. I am a strong Democrat. And also, what makes me unique is that I support other Democrats. I've helped so many others run their campaigns. I will do what I can to get other Democrats elected, especially in the more redder parts of our state.
Sure.
I think that this is a safe blue seat. I am going to have incumbency when I win, but I'm not just going to be, a fat, happy cat. I'm going to be out there doing the work to help others because I won't be able to get anything done without the support of a Democratic delegation. And so I will be working with SCDP, as new leadership comes and goes. I'll be working with those leaders to get things done. But I really have a heart for the needs of the community. I really want to see affordable housing become at the forefront, along with childcare and paid maternity leave. And I want to address the lack of OBGYNs we have in South Carolina. Like, there's so much work that needs to be done, and I have the energy and the time to do it. And that's why people should vote for me.
Excellent. Michelle4sc.com. All right, Michelle, we are going to get into your 7 questions.
Okay.
So These are basically questions that we get to ask our guests, that every guest gets to hear them. And for some reason, none of them seem to know anything about it. It's like we surprise them. All right. First question. What was the last thing that you Googled? Bonus points if it was the All About Nothing podcast. No, I'm just kidding.
I Googled, what does right to work state mean?
They can fire you at any time for any reason. It's great.
It's a weird play on words. They seem to have come up with this right to work.
Yes, because I was like, that sounds like a good thing, but it's not.
Yeah.
So I wanted to make sure I understood what it meant.
Yeah, what it really means is right to fire is essentially what that means.
We can let you go for no reason.
Yeah. All right.
Just
Second
remember.
question. If you could have one superpower, what would it be?
Teleportation, because I'm always late.
God, you're like the fifth person in a row.
Yeah. Like everybody wants
one.
teleportation. What was yours again, Zach?
Mine was flight. I just want to fly, bro.
Just flight?
Did you get shot down?
I'm not seeking
Those
out some
aliens will
violence.
scoop you up.
I'm not looking for violence. I just want to fly.
So when you say teleportation, are you talking like Nightcrawler teleportation, like just a short
Goku's
distance?
instant transmission.
No, like Harry Potter, like
Okay.
apparate kind of situation.
Okay.
Turn into a little mist that can. Yeah.
Okay.
Just touch an object and go whoop, whoop, and then be there.
Had to carry an old shoe.
Yeah.
All right. Question number 3. If your life were a movie, what would the title be?
What is she gonna do next?
Okay. That's good. That's good. I see sequels in the future.
Absolutely.
What's she gonna do now? And then,
All right. Question number 4. If you could eat one food for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Oh my god. Basil fried rice with chicken in it.
Okay. That sounds
Thai
good.
it's fried rice and chicken.
I assume that is not going to mess up my stomach. Look, I just recently found out, and this is probably more information than anybody needs, but I may have a little bit of the what is the
IBS?
IBS, yeah.
Actually, I take it back. Tacos. Because you can change that up.
See, that is definitely gonna mess me up.
That's a winning answer if there ever was one. So
It's all white rice and noodles from egg noodles from here on out. All right, question number 5. What is your least favorite candy and why?
Candy corn, because it tastes like trash.
that's a bold claim when Tootsie Rolls exist, but
I'd rather take Tootsie Rolls over candy corn, and it looks
hard
nasty.
chocolate. Just all right. Candy
corn
corn
is disgusting.
All right, so this is gonna give some insight into some of your character. Number 6 is, what is one strange or unusual talent that you have that most people don't know?
I can show you.
Oh, here we go. Show and tell. Let's go. Let's go.
Let's see.
I can fold my tongue.
All right, let's go.
Stop laughing. Okay. Okay, do it. Hold on. Give me a second.
The clover thing, yeah.
I can't do it. Can't do it.
I'm just happy I have the chromosome to be able to go. Yeah, we're good.
Look, I'm glad my tongue still extends outside of my mouth.
I can do the Shamu.
Look, I don't want to scare y'all, but when you get to be my age, things stop working. And
How old are you?
72.
Zach, always here.
I can
for
do the
love.
Jabba the Hutt.
No, I will be 46 in March. So
Oh, you're not that old. Okay.
all right, here's the last of the 7 questions. If you could have dinner with any 3 people, dead or alive, who would they be?
Harriet Tubman,
Good.
Barack Obama.
Okay.
Ooh, wait, I only want
Okay.
one Obama.
You're Michelle, but not the one I know.
It's hard because they're both great. Could I do the couple? The couple.
We'll let you
Leave
have a
them.
couple. We'll
All
let you
right.
have.
No,
Harriet
why were you,
Tubman.
Oh, Zach's pulling back.
I had to keep it to 3.
Okay, I'm trying to think of the third person. Shirley Chisholm, Barack
Okay.
Obama, and Harriet Tubman.
Those are good. Those are okay. So
would you be eating tacos?
Yes.
Subsection question on that one. You already said it. Would you be eating tacos? So it's tacos. All right.
Tacos and rice.
Well, Michelle, we know that you have to run,
Yes.
but I want to thank you very much for being on the podcast with us, and hopefully, come January 22nd, or I believe 22nd, we'll know that you have been elected to be the House seat, and then when you come up to Columbia for your session, then I'll make sure that I come down there. We'll get lunch or something. So I'll take you out to lunch because I know how little you all make. So
yeah, we don't make anything. I'm gonna need to find a job after I get elected. So.
That's exactly.
And hopefully you'll remember us as the okayest white guys.
After my husband, of course. Yes.
Well, you make sure to tell your husband exactly what I said. Well, Michelle, thank you very much for being on the show with us, Zach. Thank you for being here. Links to past episodes, podcast platforms, merchandise, and social media available on our webpage, theallaboutnothing.com. If you think our financial model of giving away free content and entertainment is silly and you're in the giving mood, why not become an official Nothing or by supporting the show monthly? Members get early access to this episode as well as exclusive content, or you can give us a one-time donation through the same link. If you'd like to be a part of the show, you can call and leave us a message, 803-672-0533. You can email the show at theallaboutnothing.com, or you can join our Discord server. Links available at theallaboutnothing.com. Thank you, everyone, for listening. You all stay safe, be kind, and
keep your hands to yourself.
The All About Nothing podcast is produced and engineered by me, Barrett Gruber. Thanks to Cake for our intro music, Sick of You. You can follow everything Cake the band at cakemusic.com. Thanks to Muff the producer for our outro music. You can follow Muff on Instagram at Muff the producer. I am Barrett Gruber. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Barrett Gruber, or visit my Linktree /Barrett Gruber. Want to support the show? Visit our webpage, theallaboutnothing.com, to become a member. There are several tiers available, including memberships that give you early access to episodes as well as exclusive content. Visit theallaboutnothing.com. To find links to our social media, merchandise, and past episodes, visit theallaboutnothing.com. If you'd like to be heard on the show, you can call and leave us a message. Dial 803-672-0533. If the time between these episodes is more than you can handle, check out our partner podcast. Zach and I host What the Pod Was That with Carrie Simmons. Visit whatthepodwasthat.com for links and details. Me takes a deep dive down the rabbit hole in episodes of Welcome to Wonderland. Available on all the podcast platforms. Visit WTWLpod.com for details. As well, you can listen to the political and social conversation between Dr. Jamela Brooks and Bill Kimmler on Black, White, and Blue in the South, available wherever you listen to podcasts. Please subscribe and share this show. If you're on YouTube, please like and hit the notification bell. Thank you for listening. The preceding podcast is a product of Big Media and copyright 2024, all rights reserved.